You are welcome to CASIS. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in this morning. Well, you're welcome to the program CASIS, Campaign Against Suffering and Silence. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaisa, and as usual, I'll be taking you through this program from now till about 11:30. Now, CASIS is a campaign against suffering and silence brought to you by the General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation, which is an independent and non-partisan foundation named after the late Chief of Army Staff of Nigeria, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru. All right, so we know that the priority focus of this foundation is mental health and psychosocial support, which is MHPSS. So I might be making reference to MHPSS as we go on in discussion. Now, let's just put at the back of our mind that is a mental health and psychosocial support to the military, paramilitary, veterans, their wives, widows, dependents, and all those affected by war and violence. All right, so this is what the priority focus of this particular program. All right, so and let's not forget that. So talking about military, talking about Army, Air Force, Navy, or also talking about civil defense, fire service, federal road safety corps, customs, immigration, NDLEA, correctional service, and so on. And also talking about their wives, their dependents, and you listening to me too, the general public. This is definitely for you. So we're dealing with different aspects of mental health as it gets to affect all our military personnel and paramilitary personnel, and of course you listening to me. All right, so as usual, I have Dr. Issa Hamza with me. Good morning, Dr. Issa.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I hope that you've been having a good week.
Indeed.
All right, you're welcome, Dr. Issa. So we have Dr. Issa Hamza with us, a clinical psychologist, and he is also an expert of MHPSS. All right, and I told you that MHPSS is the mental health and psychosocial support that's been given to the military, paramilitary, veterans, and so on. All right, so today we'll be talking about reintegration program. That's what we'll be talking about today on the program CASIS reintegration program. All right, so like we heard in the jingle earlier, that to get in contact with the foundation, that's the General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation. I'll just be giving out the numbers shortly so that you could get in touch with them just in case you have any mental issues or you have somebody in the military or paramilitary that is dealing with any of these mental health problems that you can actually pinpoint to. Now the number is 091 279 50177. All right, 09127950177. That's the number to the General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation. All right, in the course of the program, I'll definitely give out our own phone line so that you might want to call in and be a part of the program. All right, Dr. Issa Hamza. So, like I said earlier, we're talking about the reintegration program. Now, Dr. Issa, reintegration program, to a layman, how do you explain that?
Okay. Good morning once more. Reintegration program, it's a process in a layman's term. It's a process of, or a transitional process of military personnel or security personnel that have been in the war front into their normal life. That is, after being deployed, they are coming back home, and how they're going to interact or blend in the society. Earlier on we talked about the things, the challenges they face that leads to PTSD. Some tend to become anxiety, they develop anxiety. Some tend to have other mental health disorders, and some as well physical challenges. Some maybe they might have been brushed by a bullet or bruises and things like that. So some of them tend to find it difficult mingling with people, and some even go as far as ignoring some of their own family responsibilities.
Yeah, I think I've actually experienced that. I've not experienced it one-on-one, but from a close relative.
Exactly. Yeah. So the issue here is that the General Ibrahim Atahiru Foundation, we want to sensitize people about the significance of the reintegration program. That is our own society, the role we have to play in the reintegration program, and the significance of the reintegration program as well
Okay.
to the general public, so that we will have a very peaceful and harmonious environment to live in.
So basically, what you're saying is it's just how to help our military and paramilitary, bring them back into our society.
Exactly.
All right. So, well, now let's talk about our society and come back to operators. What do you think we should know in terms of this reintegration program?
Well, the first three things we should know. Number one, is that these people they've been in the front line and they've seen a lot, and it is very important for us to look at things or imagine, in as much as we can actually see things from their own perspective, but to try to imagine or put ourselves in their shoes. Being away from your family for a very long period of time, then isolation, maybe in a bush or a camp or a deserted area, then the persistent thought of being attacked or concurrent attacks from the insurgents or the people that they are protecting us against, things like that. And another thing here is that their mode of dieting, they can stay for 1 week, 2 weeks without actual real food or things like that. So all of those things are things that has a way of affecting their own way of life. So if they are coming back, as they are coming back, we have to be able to place ourselves in their own shoes.
Okay.
That is the first one. The second thing here is it is very important for us to also understand that they are the backbone of our own economy. That is when it comes to stabilizing the economy, the security, and whatever source of security and livelihood that we are enjoying. So they are very sensitive, professional, and they have a way of bottling in their own traumatic events. So sometimes you see him laughing and gisting with you. You go, uncle, so you're welcome, and you will hug him, but you don't know that. Yes,
more.
you understand. So it is very important for us to know, to be very careful or to watch our language, our choice of words when we are with them, and try to avoid a lot of conversations that will trigger some memories, of their own operations.
Okay.
That is also important as well.
Okay. All right. So, to be a part of the program, talking about reintegration program, you can dial 0706 336 4218. 0706 336 4218. Now, aside combat operatives, now we'll have people doing some other kind of operational, jobs too. Would you say this is also it's something they could also look at? Because sometimes you have people who have been away from family for a very long time, so coming back now to their families, to their friends, and their normal way of life, there could be some hitches for them to actually, get immersed into the normal day activities. So, are there things also we should know about, this set of people who are civilians, but they're also away from the normal life activities?
Okay, well, I can give you this from a first-hand experience, because I think sometimes we do go to the Northeast, to provide some psychosocial support and things like that to the IDPs and even some of the military personnel.
Yeah.
So we can stay there for like 3 months, 6 months, and so coming back, we know that this is how it is. Sometimes after the whole circle, we will have to stay for like a minimum of 1 week in a hotel.
Wow.
You understand? You have to stay. The sponsors will take care of us. They will keep us there. We will sit the group. We will talk. We will chat. We will We will call our family members, our friends. They will come, they meet us in the hotel, which, so gradually, you will unwind all of the tension and the experience and everything
Yeah.
there, and mingling with the what do you call them, the hotel
Staff.
staff,
Yeah.
gradually. So it is very important to know that if you've been for a while, if you've been away from people for a while, that life goes on.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of, within a day, within an hour, there might be one or two changes in their way of life. People are moving on. So you don't expect them to stay the way they used to be.
Yeah.
So as you are coming back into the society or coming back into their lives, there are a lot of changes in their lives that you have to catch up with, which is very important. That is why you have to sit down, like the quality time you have to have with your kids.
Yeah.
You understand? How is school? You ask them, they'll be briefing you, they'll be gisting you. During our midterm, we did this, we did that. So you see, that is also another form of catching up.
All right. Just hold our thoughts. Let's pick this call. Hello. Good morning. Okay. Lost that call. So
Yes. So it's important for us to know things like that, even as a civilian.
Yeah.
So you don't expect, just as you're coming in, you are carrying on with your life.
Activities.
Yes, because your mental health is very, very fragile. You can feel, you can think or feel or believe that you're unbreakable, but you won't even know when you've reached your own breaking point.
True.
Because you're just pushing yourself. And the issue with mental health challenges and emotional challenges is that they don't happen all of a sudden like a headache. You understand? Or like a stomach ache. It's a gradual process. Sometimes like depression, panic.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Just
is
starts
exactly
gradually.
gradually. You won't even notice. You, the person going through it, you won't even notice it. You understand?
Yeah, true.
Until it becomes a problem that the people around you are beginning to see one or two signs and are bringing it to your own attention. That, why are you now? You don't eat like you used to. Why are you dressing like this now? Why are you sleeping more than usual? Then that is, if you have an experience about that, then it will come up to you that, okay, I'm beginning to have a problem. So things like that, they are very important to take into cognizance as a person is coming back into the society.
All right. Hello. Good morning. Hello. You're connected.
Hello?
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. So couldn't hear lots from that caller. So now you've just told us what we should know, and even in cases where the person is not a military personnel or paramilitary personnel, you have also explained that to us. So now let's look at the systematic sensitization on the mental health and psychosocial supports for both society and combat operatives in terms of reintegrating them into the society, because you have just made us understand that the society has a part to play in terms of this reintegration program. Now, what's the systematic sensitization on the mental health and psychosocial support for the military, for both parties right now,
Okay.
from society and military personnel?
Okay. Well, the systematic sensitization here is that, like what we're doing now, informing, creating more awareness.
Yeah.
That people should know. There are a lot of people that don't even know things like this. It will even surprise you that even learned people that are working with some of the military personnel that have as relatives,
Yeah.
and they don't even know about things like this. They don't even know that it is important for them to have their own time before they come into. So aside from the providing the society with information like this, then another thing here is, it is very important for us to also sit down and go back to the drawing board. Okay, this person has been away for a while. So how are we going to assist? How are we going to play along with him when he comes back? It's not as if he has gone to do something bad or what have you, no. But there are some things, there are some people that maybe they have one or two opinion about that particular job in question. You understand? Or the reason why the person might have left. So looking at how to handle things like this, or how or what to know or what to talk about, or how to talk about that person is also very important. Now, another thing is looking at getting more educated about the person's nature of job. That is, if the person, like an example, a person being a paramilitary personnel, then, and he has been, you can see he's partially a civilian, you understand, because he's not. So the expectation here is, the societal expectation here is, he can just come in and just walk into the society like that. No, you have to you have to make your own research. With the society, we have to make research on what they do, and how to support them. Now, if I'm talking about how to support them, getting more information from this particular platform, I believe is not good enough. You understand? Because every person has his own unique way of handling issues based on individual difference and a person's personality. So in a situation whereby you are handling a paramilitary personnel, and this person is a military personnel, and you are trying to use the same method to handle them, you are going to have a failed response or result in most cases. So, and aside from that, there are ways that we as the society, we have to be able to assist. Like an example here is the support network we talked about earlier, which is very important. Then the society itself, like how we welcome them. I can tell you a bit about some of the countries I know, that before they come back, there will be a big party for them, you understand, after they've been rehabilitated, that because in advanced countries, as they are coming back, it's like a form of rehabilitation program for them.
Okay.
They will stay in the transition camp. That's what they call it, the transition camp. After staying there, they will get to tell them, keep them up to speed about the changes, the changes in the society. Maybe the currency might have increased. Before, Indomie is 50 naira, now is 100 naira. So psychologically, they will have to start preparing themselves on how to. So by the time you go back home and your wife is saying, or their wives are saying, Indomie is now 100 naira. What? How comes?
When did this happen?
You understand? So they've gotten informations like that. Now, this I'm talking based on the military perspective. How the role that the military has to play, and other security organizations, the role they have to play in assisting in the reintegration program. The rehabilitation is very, very important. You understand? And aside from that, telling them more about the political arena, that is, okay, so person is no longer, there are a lot of bills that have been passed. Now, if you do this before, if you park, in this place, you don't get a bill. Now, if you do, you're going to get a bill. So, you see, you're also protecting them from the society and protecting the society from them. Because they won't go and park in where they usually park, and they'll give them a ticket, or they'll question them, and they'll say, what now? And there will be a friction, a problem and a conflict. You understand? And the next thing here is just coming back from a war zone. So that combat, exactly. So the next thing is, and it might also trigger some PTSDs that have underlying PTSDs. And the next thing is, any other person around there is
You're just being aggressive to the
exactly.
people around.
You see, so you see the importance of the reintegration program for our military and paramilitary personnel.
All right, definitely this cannot be overemphasized. All right, if you're just tuning in, this is Liberty Radio 91.7 FM, and of course, we're on the program CASIS, that's Campaign Against Suffering and Silence. And this is from the General Ibrahim Atahiro Foundation, which gives mental health and psychosocial support to military, paramilitary veterans, their wives, and dependents. All right, so today we're talking about the reintegration program. And Dr. Issa here has made us understand what we, the society, can do, what the comeback operatives can also do, so that, it's all about giving them a seamless transition into everyday life, more like giving them a soft landing at the end of the day. We welcome them, and then, we give them that particular welcome, notion and all of that. All right, so to be a part of the program, you can dial 0706-336-4218. Reintegration program. Do you have a relative, or do you have an experience on this, or you have a question on reintegration program, how to give our military and paramilitary a soft landing when they come back from their war zones, when they come back from their duties that they go for sometimes a very long time? Do you have questions on that? You can dial 0706-336-4218. All right, Dr. Issa. Now, we've talked about the systematic sensitization, when it comes to the mental health and psychosocial support. Now, let's talk about the importance of this reintegration program. You have mentioned a few, because from discussions we've seen how important it is for us to, help or probably join hands in the reintegration program, because it has to do with all of us. Even if you don't have somebody directly, at least you know somebody indirectly who is in the military or paramilitary. Now, what of those that actually work within towns? Do you think they also need this integration program? That's talking about our paramilitary, because they are the ones you basically see, in town all over. Do they also need this reintegration program, or is just for those who are in the war zones, those who are far off from their homes?
Well, depending on the operations.
Okay.
You understand? You can see some checkpoints in around the town, and it's possible that the person might have been there for a while, for like a month, 2 months, 3 weeks.
At one spot?
Yes,
okay.
At one spot. So as he's going back to the barracks, or as he's been maybe if his own operation there might have ended, he's going back. The normal thing or expectation is carry your bag and go home.
Yeah.
No, it's so unprofessional. Yes, it's so unprofessional. Number one, looking at it from a professional angle, there's the need for briefing. He will have to go back to his own unit, and he's going to brief his own superior officer on the event. So that's why, if you notice, most of the times you see some of those operatives carrying a small, something like a notebook. You understand? The day-to-day activities, the significant events, they tend to take record of it. So if there are things or challenging events there, and maybe they just use their professional let's see, technical know-how on how to handle it, but it is like off the books, then they can take it down and go and ask their superior officers on how they might have handled that problem. So you see, after the briefing, then the next thing here is, at least they need to rest. Like checking them in a hotel, or maybe keeping them in the camp, the transition camp, for even if it is a week. You understand? Because as he's leaving that place, he's going back to his kids. That is for those that have families. And maybe he has like 2 or 3 sets of twins. You can imagine. Or someone in the northern Nigeria, someone with maybe, let's say, 2 or 3 wives. You understand? And things like that. So there is the need for him to unwind all of those things relieve himself of those tension and everything. It's possible that you might have been passing uncle so you know him there, but he is there on professional and official assignment. So what the institution should do is to keep him, let him rest for a while.
Yeah.
Then before you present him, you've taken him as a good and capable person from his family, and you are giving him the essence of this is for him to have confidence in the system again.
Yeah.
So whenever he's being called, his family will not panic because they know that he's going to be taken care of.
When he's coming back, he's coming back as our daddy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Things like that.
All right. So just before we go, Dr. Issa, kindly give us, you've said, a few of them, but let's concentrate mainly on the importance of this reintegration program for the military, paramilitary, and the veterans also,
Yes.
because those ones are also a group of people that, we really need to talk about. The veterans, what's the importance of this integration program for them in the military and the paramilitary?
Well, starting with the veterans, I have to give the Nigerian Army a credit because there is this program they usually do. They host for the people that are to retire. Like some they take them to Lagos and they teach them. Yes. A lot of people don't know about this.
Yeah.
They teach them how to farm, fish farming, poultry, business. They give them a lecture of, like, let's say, depending on the program, like 6 months, a minimum of 3 months.
Wow.
They are going, it's just like a school. You are going to learn. So what I want to use this opportunity now to say this. The same place, if we can have institutions like that for other security organizations, is going to be very helpful. Because as they are coming out, they are going out as professionals in fish farming, poultry. So their retirement benefits now, they are going to put it into the economy.
Yeah.
You understand? And they get to employ some people again. So now, simply because of, now this is another thing, the reintegration program again.
Yeah.
Because in that camp, they also tell them that this is how you have to be diplomatic. You don't have to go and be shouting, being bossy.
Yeah.
You understand? So things like this. So that's the first thing. So a lot of people don't know about things like this.
Yeah.
So in the case of the military and the paramilitary, giving them, creating more awareness on why. That is, letting them know on why they should be able to, and the advantages of why they should, like, adjust or cope into the society. is very, very important. Like, for example, there are some people that some personnels that take the military life as their way of life, and you are taking it away from them. You understand? All of a sudden, before they realize it, they've served for like 20 years, 30 years.
And that's all they know.
Yeah. So how can people like that adjust? I'm sorry, I did something that I don't usually do, but let me give you an example of the advanced countries. The state security you hear about.
Yeah.
People like that are being enrolled into the state security. Yes, because there's no need to give them more, any other training, combat training.
True.
But the only thing you need to give them is tactical training. You understand, on how to handle civilian cases or issues. So you see, knowing that they are going out from this place, coming into this place, it's like, okay, fine, it's like a soft landing, and that trauma of, okay, this is what I do best, or this is what I know best, and it's been taken away from me, it's not going to be there. There are other security organizations that they can also join or provide professional service to.
Okay. All right. So, well, thank you so much, Dr. Isa. I must say I've learned a lot on this integration program because, sometimes we just take for granted. We see our military personnel, especially our veterans, we just take them for granted and just move on. But now we know that we need to give them special attention also. All right, so thank you so much. This is where we draw the curtains for today on the program CASIS, brought to you by the General Ibrahim Tahir Foundation. All right, and CASIS is a campaign against suffering in silence. And this is a mental health and psychosocial support coming from the General Ibrahim Tahir Foundation for the military, paramilitary veterans, and dependents, and even us too, the society, so that just like today, at least we'll learn to give them a soft landing. Just give them some room, and then we'll get to offload together so we could have a very peaceful society at the end of the day. All right, so Dr. Isa, we'll see you next week, God's willing.
Amen. Thank you.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, join us again next week Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. where we go through the program CASIS, campaign against suffering in silence. All right, so remember, General Ibrahim Tahiro Foundation. It's on Facebook. It's also on Instagram. And of course, you can get to them through their phone number 091 279 and their website is www.atahirofoundation.org. On Instagram, on Facebook is atahiro_foundation, on YouTube Atahiro Foundation, on Twitter at GIA_foundation. All right, just stay with us right here on Liberty Radio 91.7 FM. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Good morning.